The next step is creating an opt-in form. Now, a form is just the fields that we can fill in with name, email address, to collect somebody's email and push them into our Mautic database. It's not an entire page, it's just a component that will sit on a landing page during the next step. So from the dashboard, go to Components, click on Forms, add a new form. Now I'm going to create this as a campaign form because we want to push this into our follow-up email campaign. Standalone forms, you can get data from these to pushed into other routes, but this is going to be the simpler of the options. So let's collect a campaign form. We'll call it our 5 tips for your first 100-mile sportive, and we'll just put brackets form there. So this is going to be our first sign up page of the 5 tips campaign. Okay. When we have completed the form, we're going to go to a new URL. I'm not going to put that in just at the moment because we haven't created that page yet. So I'll leave this as it stands and we'll come back to this form later. Again, categories, if you have lots of them, published dates and times. The kiosk mode it's fairly rare that we use this, but if you've got your form gathering things in a public place, for example, if you're gathering data in a retail outlet, then you would use that because you've got lots and lots of people using the same computer. So some of the tracking won't work perfectly in that environment. This will render CSS styles, so it's if you are using your own page designs, you might want to turn that off so it doesn't interfere with it. And we're just going to have the blank theme, so it doesn't add. It's a fairly clean style. There's a few in there you can play around with, which are mainly different color themes and slightly different shapes, so that the form will merge with some of the landing page templates that are within Mautic. But we're just going to leave this as blank for the moment. So we'll apply those changes. Okay. Now, for any form, we need fields. So the first one we're going to add is a text field for a first name. The label is the text that appears just above the field to say what you're supposed to enter in there. The placeholder is text that appears within the field, so a little bit like here, as a prompt, and that would disappear as soon as you click into that field. Help messages we don't need, there's no defaults for this. We are going to show the label, and you can stop certain things from being saved to the database. Not really used that much, but multi-stage forms sometimes. Okay, contact field, we're going to say where in the database we want that stored. So if we scroll down here, we'll find a first name field that's already set up in the database. Validation, we're going to say required. Yes, we do want it. Validation messages we don't really need. And we can set various other attributes which are really about styling your form. So if you know anything about CSS and custom style sheets, that's where you can add those attributes to your field so you can style them up later on. Okay, so we add that field. Now, of course, to be able to send out email campaigns, we also need an email field. So we'll put email address as the form label and placeholder there. Field is email, it's chosen there already. Validation, yes, it is required because it'll be no use to us without it. We'll add that field as well. And we're just going to change the text on the submit button to get the tip sheet. Again, there's some attributes for styling that, which we don't need here. So we'll apply that. And we'll close that. Now, if you're familiar with using your own web systems, you can actually copy that form content, which has got some styling with it, into your own site. Your developer might be familiar with that. But actually within Mautic, we don't need to use these two methods because we're going to build our actual landing pages using Mautic. So we can add these in just using the page builder. But if you're trying to integrate Mautic with maybe a WordPress website, then this code is what you'd use, and your developer should be able to help you with that.